Board. Oh, welcome to Breezing with Bierman, the podcast. Before I say anything else, if you like this podcast, anything else I've done, please go to my YouTube channel, Instagram. My Facebook is coming back. I was hacked and everything. We only have 40 minutes, and this man has so much to say. Eclectic tastes, a visionary, a Renaissance man, a Princeton High graduate,
I didn't pay him anything.
a native Princetonian. I'm not going to be talking a lot. I'm just going to steer him though. I find him mesmerizing and fascinating because we can talk about almost everything and anything. I thought we were going to talk about piano. Maybe we'll get to, we'll see.
Maybe next time.
Yes, maybe next time. What I introduce, well, I'll introduce you one thing. Piano man of Princeton, piano man Peter Goldstein. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored and pleased to be here. And I would like to say two things right off the bat. First, hi, Alicia. Hi, Dahlia. Hi, Tiny. And second, since I am born and raised in Princeton, I am very happy to say that when I was born, my pediatrician, along with Ben Silverman, was his father, Dr. Bierman. And I was very lucky to have the two best pediatricians, at least in the country, if not who ever lived. That's how good they were. And yes, in those days, pediatricians did make house calls.
He did. Just quick, what? Yeah, you hold him in saintly regard. Why? I mean, what?
Because, well, for two reasons. One, he had by far the most placid, pleasing, easygoing demeanor of any man or woman I've ever met.
True.
And second, not even Dick Clark looks as young for his age as your father.
That's true. He's kind of like the Lost Boys or something, or Benjamin Button or something. He's going backwards and everything. Of course, I'm biased and everything.
And I remember when their office was in the Country Mouse building at the corner.
Oh, that's really like, yeah,
of Nassau and Washington.
I was barely alive.
Next to the, well, I'm older than you. You weren't alive at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So for those two reasons, I am extra happy and honored to be here. So away we go.
Away we go. You have it.
I feel very compelled because I know so many wonderful, helpful, good things to start right away by giving you viewers and listeners some invaluable public service information. First things first, there's a restaurant at the Montgomery Shopping Center in Rocky Hill on 206.
And for the whole world audience, say where we're Central New Jersey we're talking about.
Right. Well, we're in Princeton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So this is right. It's at the Montgomery Shopping Center next to the movie theater. It's an Italian restaurant called Beniamino's. This place has by far the world's best pizza. Some of his pizzas include,
that's a big statement,
deep dish chicken ranch, cheesesteak with peppers, onions, and white American, ricotta, and ricotta with broccoli. Also, I've had some very extraordinary appetizers. Well, the one appetizer that I've had most frequently is fried calamari, which was 3 times better than what the Union Square Cafe made. Rest in peace. I don't think they're in business
What about
anymore.
in Trenton? What about Conti's? How can you say this?
Well, all right. I will be brutally honest and say that one day Tony Baldino, my friend since 6th grade and owner of Conti's, invited me there and we had lunch together. And the chef and all the employees saw that I was sitting next to him. We ordered a custom-made pizza, and that night the pizza did not agree with my stomach. So I have not been to I love their ham and cheese sandwiches. It's a fun place to hang out. But
you're kind of an apostate, but we can let it go.
Thank you. So the main dishes there, which sometimes are even more extraordinary than the pizza that I've had, are shrimp and scallops over linguine and white line sauce.
Ooh. And it's fresh, homemade.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, all of his ingredients, even the green lettuce, are unusually fresh and wholesome tasting.
I'm intrigued.
Another dish I've had there, and this may kind of defy the laws of physics, is I've had fettuccine Alfredo there more than once, that, believe it or not, was very wholesome and fresh tasting and was completely light and non-oily, greasy, or heavy, which is in a way the ultimate gastronomic oxymoron.
This is true.
And when I would frequently go there with my piano tuner friend, John Kinzel, before he moved to North Carolina to his own little cabin in the woods to enjoy his retirement, he would always get the whole wheat penny pasta with broccoli rabe. Now, I've never had that, but he had that all the time. And, you know, I should probably try the whole wheat pasta next time
How
I'm
many
there.
times have you gone to this establishment?
Well, I've
how
gone
new
for
is it
pizza probably close to 24 times.
already?
They haven't been there that long.
Yeah, exactly. I
I
think
think it's
I've
been
seen it. I've not been inside.
right. I think they've had. There was an
It's
Italian
the movie theater.
exactly.
Right.
Well, it was right next to Thomas Sweets, which, alas and alack, is no longer there.
Yeah, all that stuff disappeared.
I used to love to go to that Thomas
I did
Sweets
too.
and get their vanilla malt flavored ice cream.
And then sit down on the couches and read all the old newspapers.
Exactly.
Yes. I remember that.
So yes, I've been to I think it's been there about 2 years. And it's very wonderful. Oh, and what I tell people, both acquaintances and total strangers, is that Beniamino's not only makes the world's best pizza by far, but it's at least one of the 5 best restaurants in the world.
Wow. Do you get a discount for saying that? Can I get a discount if I mention your name? How are the prices though? Is it reasonable?
Considering the quality of the food, the prices are very reasonable.
This is where in my old age I've become a little more discriminating and less of a gauche American. The French have it right. I do realize though, in a lot of places in Princeton, the food is really not that great compared to what you have to
Well,
pay for.
you've lived here a long time. You've probably heard this said before, that for the longest time, the 3 things that described Princeton, that characterized Princeton, were undrivable roads, inedible restaurants, and undrinkable tap water.
Yeah. Well, yeah, tap water, but yeah, restaurants. The Annex at one time, it was the closest thing that met that alchemy of somewhat affordable, pretty good service and quick. And that even went downhill at the end.
Right. Well, yes, I enjoyed, especially when I was in high school and shortly thereafter, going to the Annex with my friends several times.
Right. The beer got flat, but the conversations were good.
Well, it was a fun, wholesome hangout place.
Yeah.
I
don't want to take you off your train of thought. There's so much
it's
I want to
okay.
hear.
But like I said, you know, we've had an excellent combination of spouting and interjection so far, I feel. We fellow native Princetonians should stick together.
I guess I didn't even plan to come on back, and you know, nothing stays the same. It's not the same. You know, I call it like a small kind of semi Huck Finn suburboisie, you know, small Presbyterian town that closed down early, and you could roam around and have a great time. Now it's all changing. Along with the property taxes, they go up.
Exactly. But yes, there are a lot more people living here now
in the area, not in the town.
And
the town hasn't grown. The area has grown.
Well, but I would say that in the town of Princeton, that Princeton has more torn down and rebuilt houses per capita than any town or city in the nation.
It probably is true. We're like a mini Manhattan. Money flows. My grandfather said my great grandfather even, Adam, money flows, and it's flowing in here.
Well, you know, it's funny you mention that because I was in Brooklyn last summer, and I think now that the nicest parts of Brooklyn are nicer than the nicest parts of Manhattan.
I can believe it. I mean, what's left to New York that's like the Wild West? It's affordable. The Bronx, maybe? Or
there's no place in New York City that's affordable, except for rent-controlled apartments, if they still even have those.
Right. They want to change that.
Right. I remember Ed Koch used to live in a rent-controlled apartment, and he was very proud of it.
Yes.
I think he paid $400,000 $50 a month for a studio or something like
Ed
that.
Koch was one of those like say what you mean what you say. Not that he didn't play little games either, and he had to hide the fact he was gay. Unfortunately, he couldn't be who he wanted to be at the time. But he was like one of the first, mainstream politicians in the before the internet who really spoke. He would speak his mind,
Right.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So speaking of speaking, let's see. Right. Okay. So after Beniamino's, the next most valuable piece of information I feel I have that I would like to share with all of Adam's viewers and listeners.
And you're going to be sharing this with a lot of people and your friends though too, I hope.
Oh, I've already shared it. Yes.
Okay.
Is Steve Larkin. Steve Larkin is by far and at least the best mechanic in New Jersey, if not the entire country. His shop is at the bottom of Olden Avenue at the corner of Olden and Parkway. I've never met any mechanic who worked as fast, as honest, as expert, and as inexpensive as Steve. He saved me thousands of dollars over many years of a very happy repairing relationship. For example, I needed to replace a timing belt. One place said 8 hours and $600.
Right.
Steve did it in 4 hours and 25 minutes and charged me $245.
Wow, let's just like go out for lunch and come back,
Exactly.
long,
Right.
trips.
Another time, my brakes seemed a little off. One place said the calipers were frozen and that it would cost $800 to fix. I took it to Steve and he said all it needed was a $50 flush and fill.
Man.
Joseph Califano, who's a transportation secretary
HEW, right.
for Carter, I believe.
HEW, right.
HEW.
Yeah.
He once said that that at least 50% of all auto repairs in this country were unnecessary.
Well, they could take me to the cleaners. Thank God. I in town, I have to shout out to Willie Russo, like him, honest. But this Larkin guy, I mean, I think in this country, you do need, if you find a good mechanic, you hold on with dear life.
Right. But don't just take my word for it. Let's see. I actually have a text here from a friend of mine who I recently sent to Steve, and I knew he would text me back this basic message. Let's see. It'll just take me a second here to pull it up. Let's see. I'll get to it in a second. Just a quick, all right, let's see. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting the nice 4th of July fireworks. Can they see that?
Well, I don't think it was coming out that well. No, not really. But take my word for it.
It's okay.
It looks like a geyser at Yosemite or something.
No, this was at his house in the Catskills.
Steve Larkin?
No, Wade. All right. I don't seem to be finding his text, but I texted Wade one day shortly after I had told him to go visit Steve because he had a Honda Odyssey that that was having some difficulty. And I texted Wade and said, Wade Spare, the international mover and shaker who lives at the corner of Snowden and Herrontown. I had texted him and asked him, did you follow my advice and take your car to Steve's? And he said, yes, a great man. He fixed the main problem in less than an hour at a much lower price than I thought. And then he even came up with a very creative solution to the problem of my rebuilding my catalytic converter.
Oh my God.
And he said that he should be a teacher as well because he's so knowledgeable and explained everything so thoroughly
in layman's terms.
In layman's terms, exactly.
So where is he is he in Trenton or Hamilton?
Well, it's right sort of in between Ewing and Trenton. It's really more in Ewing. You go all the way down to the end of Olden. At the end of Olden is Parkway.
Yeah.
If you were to turn right on Parkway, you'd hit the Ewing High School. And if you were to go straight through, there's a IHOP right across the street.
Yeah. Yes, I know what that is.
That used to make great red velvet pancakes.
Right. IHOP's gotten a little too more expensive for my taste. I'll make them at home.
Right. Well, my father, of blessed memory, when I was living with him the last 3 years of his life in Glen Allen, Virginia, when he stopped driving to become his personal chef, trainer, chauffeur, meal and rent and day planner, because he was my father and I owed him everything. He My father loved to go to the IHOP. It was his second favorite restaurant after Golden Corral.
Oh, God. I went to going. It's a little depressing. I've been there twice. No, look, I can dig. It's an American story. One price, you can just shovel it in and everything.
Well, you see, the thing that my father loved about Golden Corral was all the food was laid out.
Yeah.
You could see it. And the two things that we usually went there for breakfast. Sometimes,
And you would pay the
early lunch.
$19.99 or whatever
It wasn't even that.
at that time. Okay.
Well, this was from 2013 to 2016.
Oh, it's not that long ago.
No, not that long ago. But he would usually have pancakes and coffee.
And as much as he wanted.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And
Was he on oxygen? Every time I go there, I've been
no,
there.
my mother was on oxygen sometimes because she had COPD.
Oh, she smoked?
No,
Oh.
she was a little nervous, and she had a lot of her diaphragm removed early in life, and at one point she had mitral valve prolapse, which is a heart, not overly serious heart defect.
But it can be chronic and it can cause
It
complications.
can be serious. But my mother did not pass away from that. She passed away from COPD. One night in the middle of the night, she just stopped breathing. And the dry cleaner, Beth Verbeist here in town, pointed out to me that was, in a way, the best possible way to go, because she was home, she was warm, and she was in bed with the man of her dreams of 57 years, my dad.
And even though it's shocking and sudden, it's better that way than having to deal with a long chronic illness and it affects the
Exactly.
It's
That was overly debilitating.
Yeah.
Her condition was not overly debilitating.
But
she could still go walking.
Do you think any some weird things happened with my mother? Unfortunately, she died 2 years ago. Do you think any any visitations of it? I'm being serious here. There were some weird things that happened after my mom died. A picture of her and her sister when she was really young, which is in the living room. I walk in, it's never moved in its life. It flipped like a hand and knocked over two vases.
I'm
there's
totally
no explanation.
I'm totally unsurprised by that.
Really? So why? Expound.
Because there are many things under the sun. As long as there are more things that we don't know than what we do know about the physical and metaphysical human condition, anything is possible.
Right.
So, I mean, it's very possible that your mother's essence or spirit, when a person is alive and walking around and thinking and doing whatever, their brain exerts mental energy.
Right.
And you could say that their mental energy, dust or radiation, goes out into the atmosphere. And that attracts, how you think and feel, that can attract certain events to happen to you. And it could very well be that her residual, one possible explanation of this is that her residual spirit sent you this sign, whatever it means.
And I was able to be receptive to it or something, or
I think that maybe what she was trying to do was tell you that she was okay, and it's okay for you to have the attitude and state of mind that life goes on, and that the mother passing away before the child is the natural order of things.
This is true.
And I think it's very safe to say that your mother was very lucky because you were her son.
You're uplifting too.
Oh, thank you.
And she had a good life. She was 88. I mean, it's not like I was wrong.
That's good. Yes. My mother, wow, that's a long life. My mother was 81 when she passed away. And I like to point out to people that she outlived George Steinbrenner and Elizabeth Taylor.
Right. Well, Elizabeth Taylor, I could see how she should have died a million times. I think she had pneumonia, ruptured back, and toxic this and that, 7 marriages and alcoholism.
Right. I would like to mention at this point, since we're talking about passage, that I would like to note with significant sadness and admiration the passing of Richard Simmons, the exercise guru.
But he disappeared though.
Well,
What?
I guess he became a hermit. Maybe as he got older, some of the unpleasant things that happened to him from his past started to come back, and he gradually had less and less focus and was less able to control them. But, I watched for a time, I watched his exercise show religiously.
Why? What?
Because he had a wonderful personality. He was very knowledgeable about
Oh,
exercise.
you think? I really? I never thought about that in this way. That's why I like talking to you.
He was a media sensation.
He was. Howard Stern helped a lot though, but yes, he was. Yeah, the screaming kind of gay thing, but he was genuine. I think he was genuine. He really wanted to help people.
And he did. I remember one time there was a woman on the show. My three favorite episodes that I remember was one when his mother and father were on.
Oh, wow.
And two, when he did an episode for pregnant women, and there was this one pregnant woman on, and they were exercising together. And the pregnant woman was doing some serious exercise, even though she was like,
right.
And then the other episode that I remember was he had a woman on who had lost over 100 pounds, and they both cried.
I'm sure. Yeah.
He was a wonderful, sympathetic, inspiring, uplifting person, and
a media sensation. That's what
a media sensation.
And VHS were coming into,
yes,
and
the world is a less enriched, encouraged, and stimulating place without him.
Yeah, he's a vital person of the
But
planet.
his influence, his positive, significant spiritual and physical influence will live on.
I wonder what happened to his bank account though. He had a lot, I think.
Who knows? Anyway, so now it's nice to go to a restaurant and have a nice substantial meal. It's in a way just as nice to go to a great bakery. Am I right? And listeners and viewers of Mr. Bierman, you'll be very pleased to know that the two best bakeries in the world, and I can say that because I've been all over France, are in this area. One of them is called the Pied Piper. It's at the Trenton Farmers Market off of Princeton Avenue. It's actually several stands to the right of Chef Jeff, who very well may make the most delicious meat in the world with his smoked beef brisket. And he makes pretty good barbecue chicken wings too, although I wouldn't know because barbecue sauce has tomato in it, and I'm allergic to tomato.
Is he there? Is it open 7 days a week at the Pied Piper? No, just Saturday and Sunday.
Well, the whole farmers market is Wednesday through Sunday.
Well, I thought it was Monday through.
No, they're not open Monday.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, that's changed.
But you see, a lot of the stores are not open Wednesday or Sunday. Like Thursday, Friday, and especially Saturday are the 3 days when the joint is jumping. But anyway, this Pied Piper Bakery, the things that I've had there that are out of this world, he makes the world's best donuts. Oh my God, I had a plain little dinky glazed donut that had such robust, delicious, fresh flavor. And he also makes the world's best key lime pie.
Oh, I love key lime.
I love key lime. Wait, I
was in Florida, homemade key lime pie.
I found key lime pie soap in suburban Cherry Hill on Sunday.
Oh, you go every place. I have three questions though. One, why aren't you obese? You love food. You know all these restaurants.
Yes, you're right. Well, I think there are two reasons for that. One, I exercise a lot.
I see you on your bike.
And we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
And two, for the most part, I eat healthy. I mean, all these wonderful, delicious, and sometimes fattening, cholesterol-laden foods, I don't eat every day. For example, I invited this one guy to dine with me because he said to me once that he wanted to get to know me better. And I'll even give him a plug too. He runs a custom-made t-shirt shop on Quaker Bridge Road, just past 5 Points in Hamilton.
He's still in business? Really? Without internet? No. Oh, gosh.
So I invited him to join me for dinner, or like an early dinner, either at what's that place? Habit Burger, which easily makes the best bacon cheeseburger in New Jersey. They just opened up a new store too by the Kmart on Route 33 in Hamilton. In addition to the one they have at the Mercer Mall, or to go to this wonderful Chinese restaurant on Nottingham, at the corner of Nottingham and George Dye, called Great Wall, which makes the world's best shrimp toast, which is sort of like the bacon of Chinese food. You know, it's incredibly delicious and incredibly unhealthy.
Right. You can die with a smile on your face. And how many Chinese restaurants are called Great Wall? Do we, you know, I didn't
A great number.
A great number. And not even realize this too until a couple of years ago. When the Caucasians walk in, or what, you know, the Native Americans, you know, whatever we are, black, white, anything, they give us the gringo menu, and the Chinese get another menu.
Exactly.
I didn't
All
know that.
Chinese restaurants have an
Hey,
American menu and a Chinese
Yeah.
menu. And if you become friendly enough and go to a place enough, and if you seem knowledgeable enough,
Right.
they'll give you the
Chinese menu,
or they'll tell you what some of the good things.
So we're just kind of eating Americanized
exactly
Chinese food over the
like
year.
I used
laughing at that stuff.
I used to know this one Chinese girl. I actually gave her a piano lesson the day she got off the plane from China.
Barbara Chen?
No.
My brother knew her.
She
dated her.
The cousin of Cece Liu, a very wonderful woman.
I knew a Karen Liu.
Who lives in West Windsor, who used to own a Chinese restaurant and a casino in Atlantic City.
Oh.
And in the 3 summer months, she would net, not gross, but net $250,000 a month.
She had a... Did she pay anyone anything? She had that thing humming.
But this was a long time ago.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
Let's see. Right, the bakery next to Chef Jeff. So the things he has key lime pie, which is easily the best key lime pie I've ever had. And he also makes pierogies, because the guy is Polish, and they were the best pierogies I've ever had. He also has great cake slices. I especially enjoy the maple walnut coconut cream iced cake, which was out of this world.
You're making me hungry. This is getting bad.
Maybe we should go to the Amish market after.
That or a nap.
So
late, but anyway,
it's not that big a place, but those things that he makes are better than any other place. The other bakery, obviously, that's one of the 2 best bakeries in the world, is of course the Italian People's Bakery at the Mercerville Mall at the corner of 33 and Quaker Bridge Road.
It moved, right?
Well, they have several branches.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
But you see, the branch at the Mercerville Mall gets fresh deliveries every day, whereas the main branch on Butler Avenue, since that's where they bake everything, sometimes leaves things on the shelf longer than they should.
You should be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. You should be the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, well,
you have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything. And
well,
you
thank you.
It so vividly and everything.
I was thinking about moving to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but Kamala Harris is doing very well now. Actually, in a poll conducted between July 26 and 28, she was ahead of Donald Trump 48 points to 41.
So do you think this is like the sugar high, or you think this is real? People were waiting for something like this. Some people weren't engaged and now they're engaged. Women are more engaged.
I think that even though Joe Biden was rated the 14th best president by over 150,
go down even better than that.
I think that the public is very, very happy that now there is someone running who is younger, who engages the public more, and who isn't bald and has white hair.
Well, just Joe looked old. He walked old.
He did. I don't understand why he didn't dye his hair.
Well, he did his eyes.
But anyway,
his teeth.
So the other bakery is the Italian People's Bakery. This Italian People's Bakery, which is a much bigger bakery.
I think we have 10 minutes. So we might have to do another show. I can't guarantee when. Maybe
it's okay. I'll whiz through the remaining stuff.
No. We just have to have part 2. Every good movie gets a sequel, right?
And sometimes 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but they have at the Italian People's Bakery, if you've never been there before, they have Kaiser rolls. Their bread is better than anywhere I've had all over France. I lived in Paris for a year, and I was in 5th grade and been back about half a dozen times. They have cheese logs and almond claws that are super great.
we had an apartment. We just sold it right near Sacré-Cœur.
Really?
Yeah, off Clinging. I don't even know.
Why in the world did you sell it?
Well, my parents got it way back in the day, and they used to go 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a year.
Well, I hope you made a big
But-
killing off it.
Yeah, we're happy.
Oh, good. Okay, so moving on. They have unreal cinnamon raisin bread. They have great cake slices. It's a full line of bakery products, and they make nice, big, super yummy cakes too. My favorite is red velvet. I went off the deep end one year and got a full size sheet one with the cream cheese icing. It was $50, but the woman who's the manager at the time liked me, and she only charged me $35. So
I have a feeling you talk to everyone when you go to places like
well, the immortal words of my father, he used to say this all the time. I'm a likable fellow. So, okay. Now, the one last thing in the public service part that I'll mention is the television show Kung Fu: The Legend Continues with David Carradine. Not the original Kung Fu from the 70s.
What years was
the reboot? This was made in 4 years, from like 94 to 98. And the thing that makes this TV show the best TV show ever by far is that David Carradine went out of his way to put into each episode as much as possible of the Tao and present it in as relevant, helpful, and contemporary a way as possible.
We have to give background here to the people. What's the Tao?
You know, the Buddhism and Confucianism philosophy. That's what the Tao is.
What about bad acting? Do you think he's actually a good actor?
Oh, he's a super great actor.
You thinking that? Oh, he was so subtle though. It was just like, I don't want to do that. I didn't.
Well, less is more.
That's a good point.
He was a great Shakespeare actor.
With his father too, yeah.
And you should see him in when he made a movie.
I saw
who's that folk singer?
Oh, Woody Guthrie.
Yes,
he played
Woody Guthrie,
oh,
and it was the
really?
Performance of his lifetime.
Really, I know he played Gaga. Who's the guy, the famous painter who went to the Polynesian Islands and everything? Anyway, but from the 1800s or something.
I don't remember that one.
Anyway.
So anyway,
and then he already asphyxiated himself.
All right,
he's not that bright.
The one other thing. Let's see. We're having a lot of fun today.
I don't want
and
it
it's
to
working
end.
great.
I don't want it to end.
Well, we can do a part 2.
Yeah.
And maybe even 3, 4, and 5. But anyway, the one other thing I wanted to mention today is, there is a presidential election in this November. And I wanted to mention at least one thing about it. And that is, and I'm being very sincere and thoughtful and heartfelt here, and I have the best interest of the entire country when I say this. The only reason why anyone would ever vote for Donald Trump is because, like him, they are very angry at something. Donald Trump is still very angry at the fact that his mother sent him to military school, and that his father, instead of giving him warm fuzzies and the love, attention, encouragement that he really wanted, which he now is trying to get from Sean Hannity, gave him instead cold pricklies, and when he passed away, millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, he did that. I would say.
So,
and his poor brother, I think he has disdain for his mom for not protecting his brother. So his brother couldn't deal with his dad's toughness. He died.
If there's something that you are angry at, especially if you feel betrayed by the two people who should not have betrayed you,
your parents. Your parents.
That was an undiplomatic thing and too harsh thing to say.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm still training him. I'm very sorry. You deserved better. Think things through. Okay. And then the other politician I wanted to mention briefly, of course, is Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu is by far the greatest threat to the existence of the state of Israel in its entire history. He has lost his grip on reality. He is more interested in staying in office and pursuing a genocidal aggression than in freeing the hostages. He's been a murderer and terrorist to his Arab neighbors. And he is the one person responsible for October 7th.
Really?
I actually said these things to a Jewish friend of mine who's like my brother, and he said, we will agree to disagree about that. And I said, with no love lost. And he smiled and agreed with me totally.
It's good you could do that at least.
But you see, I am unafraid to look past the end of my nose and stare back at the truth that stared at me. One of the most wonderful things, the two most wonderful things that I relied upon and received during my childhood and upbringing here in Princeton, was one, whenever I came home, every day when I came home from school, my mother was there. And my mother was the most love-filled person I've ever met. And second, I knew that at all times my father would be honest. And those two things made an enormous difference. That and Flash Gordon and Kung Fu the Legend Continues, that's what caused me to be how I am today.
But how do you describe yourself? I mean, you have to give your elevator speech, and we got about 3 minutes. How would you describe yourself to
What do you
someone?
mean elevator speech?
Well, say it in 2 minutes, say it in 1 minute. If someone like, I think a lot of people can't even do that though. Like, who are you? What do you, well, how would people describe you? What do you think?
I'm glad you said that. I love to sing and play the piano. I made a medical discovery about the most efficient possible way to train the brain, senses, and muscles. Wrote about it in a book not yet published called Perfect Piano Playing, The Secret to Great Technique and Great Musicianship. Figured out how to apply to any physical or artistic endeavor. And after overdosing with it on myself, I can now play the piano, sing, act, and compose 10 times better than anyone. And even as a tangential byproduct, figured out how to cure dyslexia, autism, schizophrenia, anxiety, alcoholism, and dementia, and depression. Next time.
Next time.
And the instant that a record company hears me, they'll open the vault and I'll become the world's biggest concert pianist, rock star. And I, I guess the one other sentence that would describe me is, it's more fun to be happy and nice than the opposite.
That's for sure.
And no one has to do anything. Everything is a choice, including how you think and feel about anything or anyone at any time. Sometimes the choices we get in life may not be the ones we want or the ones we even ask for. I'm quoting Kung Fu the Legend Continues. But when you learn to scale the wall within yourself, the others will crumble. Look at your demons. They are formless. Listen to your fears. They are soundless. I used to be a piano teacher, and I've been into hundreds of people's homes. And I'm sorry to say that the modus vivendi of the vast majority of American families is vengeance.
Really?
The influence of John Calvin is alive and well, and most parents would be horsewhipped if they're not going to be just as mean to their kids as their parents were to them. And I'll never forget, I was in this one house teaching these wonderful two students, and the father said to me that, he and his wife, they can't figure him out. And I came this close to saying to him, would you like me to explain it to you? Parents are supposed to be nicer to their children than their parents were to them. And it's really sad how many people don't realize this. All right, so we got 90 seconds left. What would you like to ask me? Or any comments?
I'm coming. There's too much. I mean, we've gone from Netanyahu to parents to Calvin to pain to suffering. That everyone still likes to talk to you, but you can tell them things they don't want to hear. I think we have to have another session.
Should I come back tomorrow?
Well, I don't know tomorrow. I gotta look at my calendar.
Okay, because we didn't even get to the exercise part. How Americans are literally losing 5 to 25 years of their life.
I told you you were a natural. This has been Breezing with Bierman, the podcast. We are going to have to come back. You have said so many things, some controversial. I'm sure some of the people are going to want some explanations and everything. So
can we have phone in question and answer?
I wonder how we could do that. But this has been Breezing with Beta Goldstein, part 1. And I'm going to have to listen to this, and I don't even know what description I'm going to write. Have a good day.
Bye.
Okay, end.